Hi everybody, welcome back to A Glittery Life and happy 2015. I am here today to bring you the Best of Beauty 2014. Last year I split this whole Best of Beauty into a bunch of different videos that I collabed with my friends here on YouTube, and it was awesome. And this year I am keeping it short and sweet. And so without further ado, I want to get into my favorite beauty products of 2014. Okay, kicking it off, I want us to talk about my favorite foundations for the year. I picked two standouts that I just really loved and probably wore more than anything this last year. The first one is the Guerlain Lingerie de Peau foundation. I actually don't have that anymore because I used it all up, but I will insert a photo of that right here so you can see what I'm talking about. Probably the most beautiful foundation I have ever used in my entire life. It's expensive, which is why I do not have it again. I bought it last year. I bought it for Christmas after Christmas last year with a Sephora gift card, and it was such a splurge and such a treat, and I literally could not stop using it. Basically, as soon as I was done with that, CoverFX launched a new product, and that is their matte BB gel. And prior to that, I did not like any BB cream. I wasn't using any BB cream. Every BB cream I tried, I was like, thumbs down, not into it. CoverFX launched this and I literally fell in love and basically wore this for the rest of the year. I have all kinds of other open foundations that I'll interchange and that I'll try, and because I'm obviously trying to use everything up. I'm not trying to just have a bunch of open foundations. That doesn't make any sense. But I keep going back to CoverFX BB, the matte BB gel. I have it in two different colors. This is light medium, and then in the summertime while I was like tanning and kind of like in Hawaii and all that kind of stuff, I was using the medium deep, which is a really wishful thinking for me, but actually with how fair I am, even with a little bit of bronzer, I can pull that color off because it's such a sheer, beautiful finish. Not sheer in the sense that it doesn't have any coverage because it is buildable, but it literally probably one of my, absolutely favorite products of the year was this. As far as concealers, I've got to give it to the NARS Radiant Cream Concealer. I had been using this in my professional kit for years. Had never really purchased it for myself because I didn't do a whole lot of concealing, but I really am to the point where I need to be doing under eye concealing on a regular basis. So this is my go-to. I love it. I love pairing it with the e.l.f. setting powder. This is the e.l.f. High Definition Under Eye Setting Powder. This is another one of my favorites, best ofs for the year. I'm new to e.l.f. and this was one of the first products that I got from them and absolutely have fallen in love with it. For a $3 product, I can't believe how magical this is. So these two definitely win for me this year. You know, I'm primer obsessed. I love primers. I wear primer every day. I had a lot of standout primers this year, but I had to pick my favorite, and my favorite absolutely is the CoverFX Anti-Age Primer. Now, I used this all year long, constantly. They launched several new primers throughout the year, but I didn't feel like I used them as much as this one. They did just launch a brand new illuminating primer that I really love. I think it's very beautiful, but I used this one all year, and in fact this is empty, so this goes in my empties, but I saved it because I had to show it to you. Just really phenomenal primer. And at my age, I've got to be concerned with anti-aging. Moving on, I want to talk about a brand that I fell in love with this year. Definitely Charlotte Tilbury. This is one of my favorites from the year, one of the best products that I bought this year. Film Star Bronze and Glow. This wins for one of my favorite bronzer contours and also one of my favorite highlighters. It's so beautiful. I love how much of a taupey bronze this bronzer contour is. It's so beautiful as a contour. I'm not wearing it today. And then I love how champagne-y this highlighter is. For my fair skin and my blue eyes, my preference for a highlighter is this really pretty champagne. I like the cool tone of it, and I just think this is one of those products that you can't go wrong with. I very rarely hear people that don't like this or that it doesn't work for them, and it's just gorgeous. The rose gold vintage looking packaging I think is really, really nice, and this was such a win for me this year. Speaking of bronzers, I have to talk about the CoverFX Sunkissed bronzer. It was my ride or die. It's got a huge divot in the middle of it. You cannot see it, but I think I'm actually pretty close to hitting pan in the center of this. I just love it. It's such a beautiful bronzer. I'm fair, so I can't go all crazy all over my face with a bronzer. This is just the most beautiful kind of just wispy, light bronzer just to kind of give your face a sunnier like look to it. Really, really beautiful. Honestly, probably my favorite. Ooh, it's tough. This might be my favorite CoverFX product. So if you don't have this bronzer, I really, really suggest getting it. On to highlighters. We talked about Charlotte Tilbury. I love that highlighter, but the NARS Hot Sand Illuminator, oh my gosh, this, whew. You can see I have used the heck out of this year. I have one of these for my personal, in my personal stash. I also have one of these in my pro kit. This was limited edition for NARS's Spring 2014 line, and I know people a lot of times don't include limited edition in the best of 2014, but that seems kind of crazy to me. If it was the best, it's the best. So I do have it on good authority that the NARS on Melrose still has a handful of these, so you can call and order it. But other than that, I think you're out of luck if you don't already have this. And if you don't have this, I'm sorry, because it is incredible. It's the most beautiful cream liquid illuminator. Also in the realm of highlights, I'm going to talk about CoverFX again, mostly because this is probably my favorite brand of 2014. I had used CoverFX in 2013, but not like I used it this last year in 2014. And so I've got to give it up to Illuminator in Moonlight. Once again, just a really, really beautiful champagne kind of tone. This is a little bit warmer than the Charlotte Tilbury highlighter. It's just gorgeous. The combination of Moonlight and Sunkissed together, I just feel like gives you your skin such a radiant glow. And I realize on camera that they don't really show a lot different, but this has got a beautiful peach tone to it, and you can see that this has got a nice bronze tone to it, but nothing crazy. Even on dark skin, this is really, really gorgeous and doesn't pull ashy at all because it's not a white highlighter. So, loved those. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about MAC's Fairly Precious Extra Dimension Illuminating Skin Finish, or whatever this is called, Extra Dimension Skin Finish. This has been my favorite blush topper of the year. It's so gorgeous. You can see it's been used, it's worn in. Oh my gosh, so pretty. I think this was a re-release, so they've released this now twice. Oh my gosh, so beautiful, and a really, really pretty kind of like rose gold with a little bit of a peachy undertone, just topper for your face. I did not use this as a highlighter. I know people that do. If you have very dark skin, this is going to be beautiful as a highlighter, but for me this was just a blush topper, and you know my motto, the more blush the better. Speaking of blush, I had to really limit myself. I wanted to pick like 10 or 15 favorite blushes of the year. I've limited it to 3, but trying to kind of pick a wide range of price and color for you. The first one is Fun Ending by MAC. Gosh, it's a really beautiful neutral fair pale pink. I love it. I didn't ever wear this on its own as a blush, but I love to pair blushes together, and this one pairs well with everything. I feel like it plays nice and it pairs well. This was from a collection that they released this year. I'm sure it was limited edition. What can you do? If you miss it, you miss it. I still have to talk about it because I wore it almost every day. Next up, I have to talk about the NARS 413 Bleaker blush. And the crazy thing about the NARS blushes is it looks like I have not even barely used this. I have used the heck out of this. I have talked about this all year. I wore this summer like it was going out of style. It was really my spring and summer blush. I couldn't get enough of it. It looks super crazy, but it blends like a dream, and the pigmentation is so gorgeous. It is great for fair to dark skin, and it's one of those universally flattering blushes, even though it looks crazy bold, crazy bright. You can only get the 413 Bleaker series at a NARS boutique, but all you have to do is make a phone call and you can order it. I love it. And then the last blush that I wore a lot this year, it's very versatile, very easy to wear, and that is Amazing Cosmetics Pink Chocolate. And this is a really pretty kind of like dusty mauve blush. And same thing, if I wore this blush, because it's got a really nice sheen to it, you can't really see that on camera, but it does have a really nice sheen to it. And a lot of times if I wore this blush, I wouldn't wear another blush with it. I would just wear this one, and goodness, it is so beautiful. Okay, I want to talk about contour. I had 2 really standout contour products that I used this year, other than the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star. Both of them are from NARS. You know I love NARS. It's a great brand. As a professional makeup artist, it's what probably more than 50% of my kit is made out of. And now don't start throwing tomatoes at the screen, but I do want to talk about the matte multiples. Now, this was sort of like such an amazing product and then just such a bummer at the same time, because NARS launched these, they sold out of them immediately and then didn't re-release them. These are not limited edition. They just had some technical issues with the packaging and won't re-release them until they fix that. So this is Speaking of technical issues with the packaging, my whole thing just came out, so now you know what we're dealing with. Okay, I've rescued that off the floor. This is Altai, and honestly, such a gorgeous, gorgeous cream contour. Really easy to work with these. You can use them wet or dry. I love putting them on with a wet beauty blender, and just they actually dissolve into your skin almost like a watercolor. And I just think this is such a cool product, and I really hope that they are able to re-release these as soon as possible for those of you who didn't manage to get one of these. One of the other new products that NARS came out with this year, and NARS just was hitting home runs right and left this year with the 20th anniversary of the company. They launched new products every single month, and honestly, none of them disappointed me. They were all amazing. This is the Contour Blush in Paloma. This is kind of one of my like ride or die products of the year. Unspoken heroes of the year for contouring. It just leaves such a beautiful contouring. I can't speak highly enough about this. It gives you the perfect like shadow instead of like line. So this is a 5-star product for me. It has been amazing. I have used it. I have used the heck out of this year. I feel like 2014 was such a standout year for lips and eyes. I feel like so many companies released amazing eyeshadows and eye products and incredible lipsticks. So I had to really work hard to narrow these down, and nothing makes me crazier than seeing somebody's best of 2014 with an eye palette that came out like Christmas, and they used it for like a week and it made their best of. That makes me crazy. So I really thought about stuff that came out really maybe at the end of 2013 that I hadn't used very much and that I didn't include in my in my 2013 favorites, but that I used all year. And I have a couple palettes. One is the Too Faced chocolate bar palette. One you just can't go wrong with the smell. It's so beautiful, and the color range is gorgeous. I love it. I feel like there's so many different looks in here. I feel like if I had to like use this palette for 30 days straight, I could come up with a different look every single day. Has really been worth it for me. I don't have the new Semi-Sweet palette, so we'll see how I think about that one. The next one is the Naked 3 palette. Out of all of the Naked palettes, this one has gotten the most love for me. I have reached for this over and over and over again. I even tried to make myself use Naked 2, and I just couldn't. Once I got this in my hands, I just could not even go back to Naked 2. It was really challenging for me because I love this palette so much. The rose gold, like these deep taupes, like these darker shades, gosh, are just perfect for me, and kind of like my preference for eyeshadow looks. But I also love a really blended eye, and these shadows just blend seamlessly, and so I think that's part of it for me too. And I like how coordinated they are. I just feel like you could use any one of them with any one of them. They pair really well, and so this has been such a win for me. There's not a shadow in here that I haven't used or that doesn't have a little divot in it, so that's a good sign for a palette. And then the third palette that I just have been obsessed with this year is once again from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the Vintage Vamp palette. Ugh, it is so beautiful. These are my like colors. When it comes to eye looks, I've realized that I gravitate towards colors like this. I love them. I don't use the greens, the purples, the blues. I love a neutral eye. I like the browns. I love the like burgundies, the Marsala. And for those of you who are excited about the Pantone color of the year being Marsala, I certainly am. This is a perfect quad for a Marsala eye. It's so gorgeous, and I have just been reaching for this over and over and over. Now, when it comes to eyeshadow singles, there are two that just have really stood out to me this year. And I mean, other than like MAC, you know, and Makeup Geek and stuff like that, I really don't buy a lot of eyeshadow singles. But I have to talk about the NARS Dual Intensities really briefly. I have mine depotted in this palette right here with some other NARS shadows. And these are their wet dry. Oh my gosh, I just can't tell you how much I like them. and they're really fun to use. They're wet, you can use them wet or you can use them dry. They blend really well and they just are different. I don't know of any other shadow that quite does what they do and that achieves the look that they can achieve. I have a video about the new NARS Dual Intensity eyeshadow palette that just went up last week, and I will link that down below so that you can check that out. It's a crazy good deal. So if you can get your hands on it, you need it because these are really fun. I know people say that they're hard to work with. There is a little bit of a learning curve. You just have to play around and you have to blend them, which I think you should do with all eyeshadows. Blend, blend, blend. So these work great if you, once you get the hang of them, once you play around with them. And you really do need the wet dry brush. I know it sounds gimmicky, but the brush that NARS came out with, that's the wet dry brush that goes with these, that is the only brush I use these with, except for a blending brush. But any other flat brush, it just doesn't work. It's not right. It's not good. So if you're having trouble with these, invest in the brush that goes with them. You'll thank me. There are very few times that I think something just takes the YouTube world by storm, and I definitely think that this year ColourPOP Cosmetics did that. These Super Shock eyeshadows are bonkers. Probably one of my most favorite things from 2014 are these eyeshadows. I like their lippies as well, their lippy sticks, but their eyeshadows are so cool. I like the texture. This one right here is Girly, which I used a lot. I love this one. It reminds me of MAC's Vanilla Pigment, which is like a long-standing holy grail for me. This is Amaze. It's a really pretty rose gold, which just goes along with all the other eyeshadow looks that I like. And then Cricket right here, which this is kind of a duochrome, like purpley blackberry kind of color. It's a really interesting color. Has a real good kind of shift to it, and it's just a lot of fun. You can't go wrong with these. The best part about these is they're $5. I still cannot wrap my brain around how they are making a $5 eyeshadow that's this good. You guys, the weirdest thing just happened. I was in the process of editing this video. I get to the very end and I cannot find the footage that has me talking about the best of lipsticks. So I was like, really quick, set everything back up, film this last minute so you can have my best of lips. Number 1 by Terry, Baume de Rose. This is such a luxury item. I love it so much. I have used it every night since I got it this fall, and I have definitely made a pretty decent like dent in it. I probably have, I don't know, maybe like another month and a half, 2 months left of this guy if I'm still using it every night, which I am. It's winter. My lips are chapped now especially. So this has been one of like those amazing like splurges of the year, and it is so luxurious, so moisturizing, and so, oh, the smell, everything about it is beautiful. So this definitely tops out my lips, favorite lips of the year. Next, I've got to give a nod to the Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks. They are awesome. I love how creamy they are. I love the texture. I love the packaging. This is Bitch Perfect. It's what I'm wearing today. It's one of the several that I own and one of my real favorites from her collection. I haven't used any of her mattes yet, so if you have, let me know what you think about them. I generally do not like matte lipsticks anyhow, so we'll see. I probably won't get any, but I'm curious to know what you think about them. And then, of course, NARS Audacious. I mean, it would not be a 2014 favorites without these little babies. They are so beautiful. Let's see, I think in order, this is Anna, Vera, Barbara. Am I right? Anna, Vera, Barbara. Yeah. 3 of my favorites that I've worn a lot, that have seen a lot of love this year. And the formula is incredible. It's a long wear formula. I feel like when you put these on, first off, you really only need 1 swipe. They are so pigmented. 1 swipe gets it on beautifully. They stay for hours. You can eat, drink, the whole 9 yards and still have them on your lips. I typically do not wear them with a lip liner, but I very infrequently wear a lip liner in general. I don't have any problem with these transferring. I just love them. Plus the satin finish on them is gorgeous, and they are so creamy and non-drying, and I feel like so many lipsticks nowadays are really drying. These are not, so you cannot go wrong with a NARS lipstick, even though the price point, I know, is a little crazy. You guys, that is a wrap 2014, you were good to us. I just want to say thank you so much to all of you who subscribed this last year and who joined the party over here at A Glittery Life and who have left amazing comments. You guys are the best, and I just want to thank you. I'm really excited about looking into 2015 and seeing what is in store for us with the makeup world and the kind of videos that I'm going to be bringing to you. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being loyal, amazing, gorgeous subscribers. You guys have an awesome day.